Good evening. I'm glad to see so many of you new and many familiar faces. This is our last SEAC of the school year, of the 2021-22 school year, unbelievably. I'm Amy Kropp. I'm the Director of Pre-K Special Programs and Related Services. I'm here in lieu of Phil Lynch, our Director of Special Education, who's not able to be with us tonight, but we have developed a good agenda for tonight. I have a housekeeping task before we get started, and that is to let you know about our interpretation for families who may want to access the interpretation. There's a globe at the bottom of your bar, a globe that says interpretation. And if Connie, if our co-chair is here, Connie, if you wouldn't mind sharing that information in Spanish.
Of course. Buenas noches. El señor Luis Mejía está esta noche interpretando para todas las familias que necesiten interpretación. Solamente necesitan hacer clic con el botón de abajo que dice interpretación, como un globo, y pueden seleccionar su idioma y obtener toda esta información en esta reunión en español. Espero que pasen una linda noche y gracias por pasar esta noche con nosotros. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. So let's start with introductions. Dr. Mason, would you like to introduce yourself, and then let's pass on to our three SEAC co-chairs.
Thank you so much, very much, Amy Kropp, and good evening to all of the wonderful parents who are joining us for our last SEAC meeting for this school year. And I also would like to thank all of the Central Office Special Education staff members who are present. We are certainly interested in supporting you through this meeting and all the outcomes that we're desired to achieve as a result. So thank you so very much. And back to you, Ms. Kropp.
Thank you. I think we have our three co-chairs. Amy Bloom, why don't we have you start and then pass it to your fellow co-chairs to introduce yourselves.
Thanks, Amy. Hi, everyone. I'm Amy Bloom. We have two boys at Bethesda Elementary, a second grader and a fifth grader who receives special education inclusion services, and he's off to Westland next year. So we are trying to model calm and confidence for him. We just want to thank everyone for your dedication and your attendance, which has been really strong this year. Mm-hmm. We appreciate your advocacy and your ideas. Thank you for letting me be a leader in this group. And I'm personally grateful for the friendships I've made here. We won't meet again until the fall, but the co-chairs are available to you. So, keep emailing us and keep in touch. And Victoria or Connie, I'm not sure. I can't see everyone for some reason.
Thank you, Amy. I'm Connie Nepomuceno. Good evening, everybody. I have been a co-chair for a couple of years. I started with special education when my son was diagnosed with autism at the age of 30. So my son started at the PEP program, and we come a long way. He's on the Asperger's program, and I also have a daughter in kindergarten in general education. This is a bittersweet moment for me because it's our last meeting of the year. I can't believe it. Hopefully we'll meet in person one day. I'm looking forward to that. It's been an extremely pleasure to be a volunteer with SEAC and to collaborate with all the leaders at MCPS. So thank you, everybody, for being here tonight.
Is Victoria here? I don't see her, but I can't see everybody. Okay, we'll move right on. If she jumps back, then we're happy to have her introduce ourselves. One thing I wanted to ask the co-chairs if you've received any public testimony or opportunity for parents to share information. Okay, that's always an opportunity to share information that parents have with us by contacting the co-chairs in advance, and we do have a SEAC webpage on the MCPS website. So one thing I also wanted to do, I think we would be remiss if we didn't spend a minute tonight thinking and talking about our colleagues and fellow children and families in Texas who had just the most unimaginable tragedy this week. So if we can just take a brief moment of silence together to think about the impact of our friends in Texas. Thank you. I also wanted to share, MCPS has put together some really good resources And they're on the MCPS webpage. There's a whole section devoted to resources to talking as parents and as staff, and information for yourselves on how to share information about the Texas and other tragedies that have happened in schools this year. So if there's a link straight on the MCPS webpage, it's right as soon as you log onto the webpage. And I think it has really good resources put together. There's one I particularly like put on by the National Association of School Psychologists, just really simple tips for parents about a variety of things about how to talk to families in a developmentally appropriate way, how to answer questions, and that kind of thing. So I will take a moment to put that link in the chat, but it is also on it's just right there on the main webpage. So now I'll go through our agenda, which I know has shifted a little. So you've gotten we sent out a revised agenda, but we've shifted a little based on varying people's availabilities and things. We are going to hear from some of our partners from X-Minds, which is a great partnership that we have had for years, and they're going to be able to share a little information about their organization and how we partner together. Julie Hall in the Division of Business, Fiscal, and Information Systems is going to share an overview and some information about extended school year coming up. Our Parent Summit keynote speaker will be joining us briefly just to meet and give sort of highlights of what she anticipates she'll be able to share and what parents will be able to learn at the virtual Parent Summit on June 4th. I'll give lots more information about the details and the registration link and things like that. But we're happy to have her join us briefly tonight as a taste. And then we'll have our traditional time to network to go into breakout rooms. One I will be there, another breakout with the 3 co-chairs of SEAC, and one, our keynote speaker, Dr. Crane de Galarche, will be in one of the keynotes, in one of the breakouts, so she can kind of highlight what she's going to be discussing at our summit. And I'll give you lots more information about the summit as soon as we get to that section. So I think I saw Sue and I saw Jean from the executive director and board president of X-Minds, Extraordinary Minds, which I've known. It's an organization I've worked with really very closely for several years. So I'm happy to have them here to share a little bit about what their organization does, how you can join, and how they partner with MCPS. So Sue, I know I saw you, Sue. And I think I saw Jean.
Yeah, we're both here. The Jean is going to speak first.
Hey there. Thank you so much for that, Amy. We're really excited to be here. I am going to try to share my screen. Is it all right if you give me a screen sharing ability? I have a quick little slideshow.
Yes, Jen Strobel can do that right now, I think. Let's see. I can go without it if necessary. It's no problem at all.
I've made you a co-host, so hopefully you can share.
Now I can. Okay, great. I am sharing, and are you able to see the?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, excellent. So what is X-Minds? We are a nonprofit organization. Oops. It's forwarding by itself. We're a nonprofit organization based in Montgomery County. We are parent-led. We have an all-volunteer board of directors. Our executive director, Sue Keisler, who you will hear from in a minute, is she's a parent as well, but she's our current only paid employee. The rest of us are all volunteers. And we're driven by our mission, which is to improve education for autistic students in Montgomery County. So it really wants to, okay. So we serve all families of all, I don't know why it wants to do that. Families of all autistic students, preschool through 12th grade. Prior to this year, we were first grade through 12th grade, or K through 12, but we have recently added programming for preschoolers. So we're really excited about that. We provide support for families of all support needs. We want to be able to serve parents of non-speaking kids, of kids with intellectual disabilities, in addition to autism, kids who have very few support needs. We want to be able to be there for everybody. And we also serve families that have students in public, private, or homeschool settings. So we just really want to help all the students in the county get the best educational outcome they can. All of our resources and our events are accessible. Everything is free. And we, in the last couple of years, have started providing all of our resources in English and Spanish, which we're really excited about. We have simultaneous Spanish interpretation at all of our webinars, and we post our webinars after the event with recordings in both English and in Spanish. Our newsletter comes out in both English and in Spanish. We're just really excited about being able to do that. We want to be able to serve as many people as possible. So, and with that in mind, that's why we also recently moved to free services. We used to have a paid membership option, and we used to charge for our speaker events, but we decided we just wanted as many people as possible to be able to learn from, our programming. So everything is free now, which we're really excited about. So how do we do our mission? How do we improve education for autistic students? So you may know us most from our monthly speaker events. We do them almost every month. We have a variety of topics, and our aim is to educate parents and caregivers and educators about subjects that help them better understand and support their autistic children, and to help their autistic children become the best self-advocates they can. So, we've had, in the past couple of years, had topics on supported decision-making as an alternative to guardianship. We just this week actually had a self-advocate panel where we had 3 exceptional self-advocates talking about their social lives. The one before that was about gender diversity in autistic people. We earlier this year covered compensatory services, and we always cover like the basics of knowing your rights. And we try to bring a diverse group of guest speakers in for all of that. So it's always really cool to see those. We also this year started monthly parent discussion groups. We have them for preschools, parents of preschool students, parents of transition age children, BIPOC families. That one is the people of the global majority discussion group. And we have a Spanish speaking parents group. So those meet once a month online for 45 minutes. And it's just a really nice place that parents can get together and talk and just share if they need emotional support or ideas or anything. I was at the Transitions to Adulthood meeting last night, and it was just an excellent exchange of ideas, and people shared ideas for their kids to get jobs and things like it was just great, like specific resources and support. So that's really lovely. We also have an annual IEP clinic in the fall, which is in person, and we let parents sign up, and they each get a 15-minute free consultation with an educational advocate. So it gives them 15 minutes to cover their most pressing issue with an educational advocate who will be able to give them some advice and hopefully next steps for how to move forward. We also have playground meetups. We had our first one this month. It was for preschool students, and we're going to be adding a elementary student playgroup meetup as well. So that's a good way for parents to meet each other, kids to meet other autistic kids, and we're really excited about that. The first one was very successful, so we're very happy about that. We also provide individual guidance for parents navigating special education. And the way we do that is we have a group of volunteer parents who have been trained in advocacy, and you can call us and we'll try to help you, give you an idea of what you need to do next. So that's been really helpful, I think, for a lot of parents who've been able to reach out if they don't know where to go next, and we can give them an idea of what questions they should ask, what they should look for, things like that. We do a bunch of other things as well. We fund teachers getting autism trainings and materials for their classrooms. We fund advocates for students whose families are involved with legal aid or the foster care system. So we've been really excited about all that. But tonight we want to focus on what XMinds is doing for parents like you, which includes our website full of online resources. And Sue is going to cover that. So I will pass it over. I'll stop sharing and I'll pass it over to Sue.
Okay, thank you, Jean.
Sure.
All right, so I will share my screen because I'm going to walk us through okay. Can everybody see my, they should be seeing the homepage of the XMinds website. Okay, so there is a lot on our website, and I'm just going to go through sort of the highlights and try to make it so that people know that what's there, so they can go ahead and look for it, know to look for it, and also have an idea of how to find it. Okay, so first of all, the website, this is our homepage, and people who need a different language other than, I'm going to try to move this. Okay, there's, this thing is blocking my view. Okay, well, there's a language button in the upper right, and wait here, there we go. Okay, so you can select your language up here, and it's, I think it's something like 99 different languages there that can be selected. If you're a Spanish speaker, then look at this orange bar here. We have, if you click on that, there's a page that welcomes you and not only tells you step by step how to get to everything that's in Spanish, but you also have direct shortcut links to the resources that are of most importance to you. So that's the languages. Now I want to give you an overview of the whole thing. You can see that there's this green bar across here, and that's the main menu. It's got 5 items on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The ones on the right, grants for educators, distance learning, they're important. There's lots of good stuff there, but it's not particularly important to this audience, so I'm not going to talk about those. I'm going to talk about the 3 on the left. So that's events and activities, supporting your student, and MoCo schools. So starting with events and activities. On this part of the website, we have sort of everything about our events. And mostly it's on this event calendar, which you can click on. And what our event calendar has is not only the events that XMinds is hosting, but also the events that we think are important for families who have an autistic child to know about that are in the community. So that's a lot of MCPS events and also other community providers. So it's always full of events. The ones that have an orange background and a little X, those are the ones that XMinds is hosting, but there's lots and lots of other ones, and a lot of them are free. So the way it works is you see something and then you can just click on it and get all the details and register for it. So this is the event that we had 2 nights ago on Tuesday night. Now, and it was great. The Autistic Self-Advocates panel talking about social lives was really, I thought it was terrific. Now, if you missed it, what we have is our past events page. So you would go to our past events and just scroll down to the event that you missed and wanted to see. So all of our events ever since April of 2020, when we went online, we've been recording almost every one of them. And more recently, I think in maybe the whole last year, we've been also recording them in Spanish, so that you can go to the event that you missed and just click on either of these buttons in English or Spanish and see the whole thing, even if you missed it. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to show you in this part of the website is the summer camp guide. So every year in about February or March, we put together a summer camp guide that's all the local camps where we know of some family who is recommended it to us. It said that their autistic child had a good experience there. So that's, okay, so those are the main things under events and activities. The next menu item, or whatever, is supporting your student. And the thing I really want to point out on this part is this is a wide variety of things that are resources that help parents, or also educators, but mostly parents, advocate for their child, and also support their child who's autistic. So the big one here is the navigating special education. It's the first item. And in it we have a number of things, but here's under individualized education plans. If you click on that, we have a lot of really terrific resources here. I'm just going to skip through them quickly. There's the IEP roadmap, which shows the IEP process step by step, starting with step 1 of referral, all the way up through the reevaluation in step 8. It's we have FAQs about IEPs. We have some very succinct parent guidance, sort of the things you really need to know. There's a page of abbreviations, sort of special education abbreviations explained. Dispute resolution if you don't agree with your IEP team. We also, there's a very popular page, the accommodations page, which has in it an explanation of what accommodations are, but also a long list of accommodations that often autistic students do find helpful. And then the last one is related services explained. So let me go back to, oops, sorry. Okay, so those are some important things that you'll find under navigating special education. One other thing I wanted to mention is the last item down there, which is the X-Minds Team Consult. And this is something that Jean mentioned, where we provide one-to-one guidance and help for parents who are having difficulties navigating special education. And sometimes it's a matter of connecting them with resources, sometimes just helping them figure out what are the different available placements. So we have a group of volunteers who have some training, and we, as a group, sort of help parents who have reached out to us asking for help. And then I just want to reiterate that everything that we host in the way of events and everything we give in the way of support is always free. So that one-to-one support for parents is free, and every event that we host on the calendar is free. A couple other things I want to mention in this part of the website is that we have some things where it's resources that are geared to one particular segment of our community. So the non-speaking autistic students resources is particularly helpful for families who have an autistic child that has communication challenges and may not be speaking yet. The BIPOC resources is a helpful resource for families who have a BIPOC student. Transition to adulthood is a ton of resources that are really useful for people whose autistic child is in middle school or high school, and they're sort of trying to plan forward for the period after school is over. And we have Spanish resources here that are especially for the Spanish-speaking families. There's lots more here, but I'm just trying to not point out everything, but some of the things that are maybe most relevant to this group. Okay, the third part of our menu that I wanted to point out is the Montgomery County Schools. So in this, we have resources that relate to the public school, MCPS. We have small amount of information about non-public special ed schools, and we have a lot of resources, this is pretty new, all about homeschooling for anyone who's considering that. A lot of information there. So I think I want to focus most today about public education and MCPS. So that portion is organized by age largely. So we have a preschool page, elementary age, and secondary services, which is middle and high school. And each of these, if we click on this, is divided into the programs that are for diploma-bound students versus certificate-bound students. And each is in an accordion. You click on it, and then you can see all of the programs described. So, for instance, under the certificate-bound secondary services, we have autism services. And it has a description there, and also what middle school locations there are and what high school locations there are. We have that same information about the extensions, LFI, etc. And up in this part, where it's the diploma-bound secondary services, we have the Asperger's program, autism, resource services, bridge, etc. So one thing I want to point out on these pages that talk about the discrete program placements is that we have this interactive map, which is like my favorite thing on the website. So I'm going to click on it here and you can see how this works. So it's supposed to help you to find the programs that you're interested in. So for instance, let's say you have a middle schooler and somebody mentioned to you that maybe the ARS program would be good for your child, but you don't know where that's located, you don't know how close to your house it is. So you go to grades, okay, you're looking for middle school 6 through 8 because your child is a middle schooler. And then look for, these are the 3 filters. You're going to go to autism related services. And then, just get that out of the way. And then it shows the 3 locations. So Gaithersburg Middle School, Westland Middle School, and Silver Spring International Middle School. And you can see that they're listed below as well. And for each one, if you click on it, it gives you information about what high school cluster it's in, its location, etc. And another way that this can work, I'm going to show with here's the high school map, is let's say you actually, or you don't know what programs this particular school has, but there's a school that's near you and you want to see what programs are there. So let's say you live near like John F. Kennedy. There's going to get this out of the way. Okay. You can just zero in on one school and then you see what programs they have. So you can see it says programs available, ARS. And you see down at the bottom, it says 1, 2, 3. That means there's actually 3 different windows. So let's go to the second one. Another program they have is LFI. And then the third program they have is School Community-Based Program, SCB. So at that one school, you now know that there's these 3 programs available. So this map has been really, really useful to me, and I think a lot of parents as well. So it sort of pulls together a lot of information in a sort of a way that's fairly easy to see and understand. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the home page. And okay, so one other thing I just wanted to mention is that on this web page there are on the home page there are some shortcuts, so you don't have to. I mean, basically, the 3 places you should be looking for that we've just talked about are events and activities, supporting your student, and Montgomery County schools. But if you you read our newsletter and realize there is some new resource, I don't remember what it was, but I know there was something. Just go to our homepage, scroll down, and here's new resources. And just look at the list, and you'll see, oh yeah, that's right. It was the summer camps. That's what I want to look at. And you click on it, and it goes straight to that. Or if you're ever wondering about what are the next events that XMind's coming up with, we always show the next 4 events that we're hosting right here. And so without sort of searching through the calendar, you can always see them on our homepage by just scrolling down. So the only other thing I wanted to mention is that we do have a monthly newsletter, which I would encourage everyone to subscribe to. There's a subscribe button here at the bottom of the homepage, and I think that Jean is going to put that link in the chat as well. If you subscribe, what you will receive is once a month, 1 email. It's not going to be filling up your inbox a lot. It's really one email every month, which will tell you what events are coming up that XMind's hosting. It'll give you a link for any that we just had so that you can see the video of recorded for anything you might have missed. and it's got just sort of news, and it's not very long. And it also will highlight any new resources that we've come up with and have now put on our website. So it's really good for keeping up with new resources and new events. The other thing I want to encourage you to join is our Google group, which is much, you can get a digest so that it's only once a day. But it's, you know, a lot of people participate in that and post things that are of interest to families who have an autistic student and who live in Montgomery County. It's all quite local. It's all Montgomery County, and it's all families with an autistic student. So with that, I just want to encourage everyone to, you know, explore our website, find some resources that are helpful to you, and please sign up for the newsletter, which is of course free because everything we provide is free. All right, thanks, and I'm happy to take questions.
That is great, thank you. There were a couple of questions in the chat. I think, Jean, you may have answered them along the way. One was, does X-Minds I think you answered that, cater students with, families of students with autism only. I think you mentioned really not specific to students with autism necessarily as much.
Well, I just answered that. We are specifically an organization meant to help autistic students reach their highest potential, but a lot of our information is sort of, you know, globally useful. So you may not be able to get all the information you're looking for, but it can be a good way to start.
Perfect. Okay, thank you very much. That was very helpful. I'm going to spend some time going back. I haven't been in the website in a while. I'm going to certainly spend some time going back. There's a lot more there then. So thank you very much. And now I wanted to turn it over to Julie Hall, who is my colleague, the director of the Division of Business, Fiscal and Information Systems in MCPS, who can tell us, is going to give us information about this summer's extended school year services, which are coming up in about 6 weeks, I would say. So Julie will share some of that information.
Yes, good evening. I'm here to share some information that the coordinator of extended school year, Anna Wykerod, has put together as just to give you a broad overview and help you to get thinking about extended school year. Much of your students probably and you yourselves have had that discussion at the IEP table. So this may not be too new for you, but just a nice review. We're gonna go to the next slide. The presentation or information covers the federal mandate and defines ESY, as well as how the decision is made, the eligibility, and your rights and decisions that parents can make. So that we know that it's ESY is mandated in accordance to the Individuals with Disabilities Act as part of our free and appropriate public education, and it's provided to all eligible special education students. So you'll notice that that ESY is an extension of the school year. So if you have a fifth grader, they will continue to extend their fifth grade experience through the summer. It is not designed for an enrichment program for the upcoming school year. It is special education instruction. There could be related services that are recommended, and it's all done at that IEP team table in collaboration with parents. It varies in intensity. So there are some things that are, it's not an automatic. It's not for every child that it has special education services, and it's not compulsory. So when you're making that decision, it's an annual function. So sometimes that decision may occur early on during your annual review. If your annual review is in December, I know as a parent, I often had my son's annual reviews in December or January. You may make that decision at that time, or it can be deferred and considered at a later time. It's always based on the data. It is individualized. And again, it's at that IEP table. This gives you a sense of the criteria. It is based on critical life skills. So these areas are all looked at, from regression. Will a student lose skills if they do not have some services over the summer? It looks at degrees of progress. It looks at if there are emerging skills or breakthrough skills that they want to continue on during the summer. It also looks at the nature and severity of the disability, special circumstances, and if there's any interfering behaviors. But these are all part of critical life skills. This summer, if you could go on mute, please. Calling here. Thank you. So this summer, students that are eligible for ESY may be in their local school programs. So we have a collaboration with the local school programs where some students will be in their local school programs receiving their extended school year services. And the ESY office provides that staffing to support those local school programs, as well as the local school programs hire special educators to support their students as well. We continue to have regional sites at 9 locations, and they have 2 to 4 programs. And you can see the list of programs that are there. That includes school community-based, learning for independence, social emotional services, and autism resource services. All elementary learning center students that are found eligible are in 13 locations. We have discrete programs such as our augmented alternative communication, autism, bridge, DHOH, extensions, and PEP. They're at 25 locations this summer. And then again, our special schools. This year, all programs are going to be 4 weeks long. As I said earlier, the elementary learning programs are going to be at their own school locations that they have currently. All programs are going to be 4 hours a day, except for autism and extensions, which are going to have an extra hour. This is to maintain the same amount of services in previous years where they would for 5 weeks. Now they will be going for 4 weeks so that programs start and end at the same time, but they will be extended in their day. PEP is a 2.5-hour program and will have AM and PM sessions. And you can see that the following program students will receive their ESY direct services at their enrolled home school as part of that local school program. And the list of that is below there. Autism, the Asperger's program, GTLD, our hours-based staffing, our homeschool model program, basically our LAD programs, our orthopedic programs, services, physical disabilities, our resource services, our speech services. Tier 3 interventions are going to be implemented as best practices throughout these programs in the local school. Next slide. So parents have rights and resources. If this presentation, which I know is recorded and is posted, there's a link for the ESY homepage and a brochure so that you can read through all this information in more detail. You have the right to, with your students, to accept the services, decline the services. There's opportunities for that collaboration. You may not agree with the recommendation, and that's part of that collaboration with the team to determine finally what will come about. And there's always your right to due process, and provided your procedural safeguards and parental rights is also available. And then the last slide is contacts and supports. So I'm providing Anna's specific phone number so that you will be able to reach her, and her email as the coordinator of extended school year services. So let me look at the chat because I see there's a variety of questions there. I want to make sure that I capture them. So one question is for those students who are fully included in a general education setting who also qualify for ESY, will those students be in the inclusion model for ESY, or they will be separated from their peers? If I understand this correctly, they will be part of their local school program, would not be separated, and would be with their peers. I'd have to look at which specific schools offering ARS in the Clarksburg area and have to get back to you on that. I don't have that list in front of me. We tend not to move students from one site to another based on request, because the local school program is going to be your neighborhood school. The regional sites are all arranged based on transportation routes, but we're more than willing to look at individual considerations. So there's a question about the provision of services, will work for smaller, more specific special needs populations at the local schools. I'm going to have to get back to you on that question also. There's a question about comp services. So compensatory services are not going to be run the same way as they were last summer as an extension of extended school year. There is a window of time, June 22nd through 24th, where some schools are offering some compensatory services during that time. The regional weekend compensatory services are also being offered throughout the summer on the weekends. And I believe there's also another opportunity from August 1st through 5th. But I'm sure that's a whole nother topic that we could probably provide information on.
I think that is all of the ESY relevant questions, Julie. You can I'll go on and then you can sort of sit and monitor the chat and if more come up. But thank you, Julie. That was a lot of information. We are, if I counted the days, it's less than 2 months until the beginning of ESY. But who's counting? And so the next, I believe that I saw Janine. We're going to talk about our Jen, if you want to advance the slide one. We always have, it's always great to have Sharon from the Montgomery County Rec Department share with us information about all the goings on and do as much plugging and promoting of all the therapeutic recreation opportunities and in summertime, the camps for our families in Montgomery County. Sharon, are you here? I saw Janine. If not, I can.
Yeah, actually I am here. Thank you. I don't know if you can see me. My internet is not very good.
Yep, we can. Outside.
We can see you. So yes, so I sent in the information. So the rec department has full and half day programs. So you can work with your school to use your PM transportation to get to camp. All of the camps on the flyer are going to be at Wood Middle School this year. And we do have full day, like you could sign up for full day before ESY and then come to us in the afternoon after ESY and then go back to full day again, or you can just choose full day all summer. We have elementary, middle, and high school groupings. So we do go age 6 to 21. Anything else you think we need to do? We do, you know, basically camp stuff, arts and crafts, games, cooperative games, a lot of building and manipulative STEM type stuff. So it's just a lot of campy type activities, lots of theme weeks, theme days, things like that.
Perfect. There's a question in the chat, Sharon. I think you'll be able to answer this. Can you please provide more information on regional programs for August 1st week? What is a regional program?
So the regional programs are going to be offered by our therapeutic recreation specialists that are out in the regions. If you drop your information in the chat, I will have one of the therapeutic rec specs from the area reach out to you, or you can look on the on our webpage, Montgomery County Rec, and it's at the bottom of this flyer that's up right now. Or if you want to email me, my information is up and we'd be happy to send you stuff directly.
Thank you. There's another question. Who are the camps aimed for?
The camps are aimed for kids who are in like the LD, SCB, LFI type programs. It's we have kids of all abilities in our programs. We are not able to provide personal care, but you know, as long as the kids can function in a sort of a 1-to-4 ratio, we are small group camps. Our caps are 20 for each camp. And within that, we do break them into smaller groups.
And Sharon, it's great. Connie, one of our co-chairs, is putting the information in the chat also. There's one last question. How about summer camps for 4-year-olds with autism? And I know you mentioned that the rec department camps start at 6, but I'll link us back to the X-Minds presentation we just had, where I noticed there's that summer camp guide that would probably be helpful with information about camp opportunities for 4-year-olds. But I know I heard yours start at age 6.
So the therapeutic rec camp started at age 6. For age 4, we've had kids go into our half-day programs or into our classes and clinics. And again, those are going to be on the web. The summer ones just got posted this week. So all the summer registrations for summer swim lessons as well as summer classes all just posted on this past Monday. So the timing is really good for this.
Perfect. I think that were all the questions. I think pools open in the rec department, pools open this weekend, right?
They open Monday. Yes, we're very excited for pools to open Monday. And we are having a water safety day, which I will share the flyer tomorrow with you, if you could post that within minutes. Water safety day is a day where they talk about safety around the pools and you know, any adaptations. Like some of our swimming pools have like a life vest available that you could borrow, or you can bring in your own life vest, but it just talks about pool safety. And there will be some officers as well as swim lesson information. That's going to be at the Glenmont Pool, which is right next to Wheaton High School. And that one is going to be Saturday, June 4th.
Perfect. And one last question came up about, are therapeutic swim classes available in summer or fall?
They are. Our aquatics team is working on adding some more classes because those classes are very small. They only have 6 kids in them. And so I know that the couple that they had built have filled already. So they are looking to find additional instructors to be able to expand those opportunities. And then the fall ones will begin registration in August.
Perfect. Thank you. And I see Janine has her hand up. And Janine, if you want to talk us through the next slide.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Sure.
We in parks, we provide support services for anybody who would need that in our programs. So I actually am not familiar exactly with what programs we have for 4-year-olds, but that is a possibility and an option. So reach out to us if you need any supports for those camps and classes. Our camps are specific to nature, ice skating, tennis. We have an all-day, like, I guess it's sports type camps. So take a look at those. And then this camp in particular that you see here is called Sensational Summers.
Oops, Janine, you just went on mute.
I don't know why.
Sorry.
I'm not seeing their slideshow.
Can you see me?
Yep, you're good now.
Sorry. And so this is a new camp. It's actually for ages 6 to 8 at Meadowside Nature Center. It's a half-day program. I believe the first week in summer, June 20th. So if you're not in ESY programs, this might be a really good option. Like I said, we've got great staff and great activities for that. And thank you for sharing it.
Thank you so much. And thanks to Connie for keeping up with putting the links and everything in the chat. So now I think we will transition to what we've enjoyed putting together, which is some of the highlights and successes of the 2021-22 school year. And we all need to often remind ourselves of the successes of this school year, because it's been very, very challenging, but very, very many positive things have come out of it. So I want to go through just a couple of highlights that are going to make us remember, all the good things that have happened this year. Jen, I can't see if the slides are keeping up, but this one picture, yes. This one picture, this is iFly. Susan Russell and her team, Michelle Fayak and Liz Nerbas, always do great activities for students in the deaf, hard of hearing and vision units. And this is one of them. MCPS students, these students are visually impaired students in Dr. Russell and Liz Nerbas's programs and services and schools. So all these students are visually impaired, and they went to iFly in Gaithersburg. When you're driving up 270, it's what I see all the time when I'm driving up and down 270. And so these were the students who had an opportunity to go there. There was a grant. Susan's unit got a grant to pay the activity fees, and the kids get to meet other students, because as we know, these students are not in a program. They're all in their home, in their neighborhood, or other schools. So they get to meet each other. And then their parents also get to meet each other, which I'm sure many of them have become friends over the years through various things as their kids have grown. So this activity, it really builds confidence. It helps them realize there's nothing they can't do. And they all just have an opportunity that honestly, a lot of our students would love to have too. Susan and her team always share the most positive activities. The next one. So this is the first annual Autism Unit Awards. And Dr. Mason and Phil Lynch and I had the very distinct pleasure of helping out at the first annual Autism Unit Awards, which celebrate the 40th. This was the 40th year of the autism program. And right in the middle there is Chris Seacan, who was the very first teacher in one of two very first autism program classes at the Carl Sandburg Learning Center. There was a grant to start up these two classes for children with autism. Chris Seacan was their teacher. And here we've evolved to this unit. And they just put on I think Dr. Mason is here and could agree with me 100%, a great evening, really celebratory. Staff and students from all over the autism unit and all of the schools nominated their own colleagues, their own co-teachers and paraprofessionals, and to get awards. They had paraeducators receive awards, teachers, a category of new teachers nominated by their colleagues, not nominated by the autism unit, but by their own colleagues in schools, new paraeducators, veterans. It was just really nice. Everybody, I think almost every awardee either had their principal there supporting them in person, or there were some principals who wanted to be there, couldn't, and so were there by Zoom saying, hey, autism unit, can you please Zoom me? And I want to watch my teacher or my paraeducator get this award from her colleagues. So it was really, Dr. Mason, I can't see you, but you probably have a smile on your face. It was a really nice evening. And the next, we will stick with the autism theme. Chris Seacan received an MCPS honor from the MCPS Board of Education called the Distinguished Personnel Award. And there's Chris Seacan with her table of guests, including a grandbaby. And the award was given, it was nominated by her colleagues in the autism unit. And really when she gave some remarks that were really about all the things that not about what she does, but about all the people she works with, her psychologists and program specialists and instructional specialists and teachers and paras in the classroom do to support the hundreds of and more like thousands of children and their families that have been served under Chris Seacan's tenure. So I think any of us who know her can validate the Distinguished Personnel Award that she received. And this is the Longview Triathlon. So this was a day that the Longview PE teachers and staff organized throughout the day. It's, you know, a lot of us do or don't run triathlons, but the Longview students got to for the day. So this was their day. They invited guests and they had a Longview Triathlon. And here's the Down syndrome walk. And once again, you can probably recognize some of the people in that photo. And in these photos, this is the Down syndrome walk, and MCPS staff join parents and students and family members and others in the Down syndrome walk put on by Down Syndrome Network of Montgomery County. So, so that was a picture we always have. It looks like it was a nice day that this year too, it usually is. And then the Montgomery County Infants and Toddlers Program, which has, you know, really existed seamlessly throughout the building closures because of their ability, the nature of the work with parent and adult coaching, was finally able to come back and get some in-person groups and opportunities. So these are inclusive. They got back to some of the inclusive play groups that they have held over the years. It was co-led by the Infants and Toddlers Program and the Family Support Network, which is part of the Department of Health and Human Services. It's a spring series inclusive play group for children starting at age 30 months up until, so right before 3 and up to close to 5, and their families. So at the Plumgar Recreation Center, which I think is in Mid-County, if I remember, and they focused on social interaction, sensory motor experience, pre-academics. This spring series is wrapping up. Another group will begin in September, but it's nice to have them all back in person again. I'm going to skip ahead. I want to make sure I get information about the parent survey. I can't tell if the Zoom is, yes. So this is, we have down to the wire, one more day, 24 more hours or so. Tomorrow night, the parent survey at the Maryland State Department of Education parent survey closes tomorrow night. It's very brief, doesn't take long. You can do it online if you've received in the mail your survey, but can't find it now or didn't get a chance to do it, it can be done online. This is really, it's brief. It really absolutely helps us when we look the following year at what we're going to plan as parent training topics, what kinds of avenues and venues we're going to seek out. It really, both the comments and the narrative comments that we get, plus also the ratings, really do. We spend a lot of time looking at the data, and I hope you see that the results follow the next year with, we differentiate and target the training at the parent trainings at what you see as the needs. So we would love an increased percentage, an increased response rate. It always helps the more voices we have. So that is, if you can have 5 minutes tonight before you shut down your computer, or before you go to work tomorrow, or before the bus comes, it would be really helpful to us for us to really learn more about how to help you. And one slide, this is the Parent Summit. So every year, for many years, we've had our in-person special education parent summit at Quince Orchard High School or somewhere else. We have not been able to do it for 2 years, and we're back with a virtual special education summit. So, and thinking that next year, hopefully we'll be back at another big high school. But this is a Saturday, June 4th, coming up from 9 to noon virtually. We're going to have a parent summit. So I'll introduce our keynote speaker who's here briefly for us to meet her. She will be giving a keynote address, and then there will be breakout sessions for parents and others to choose from. There'll be a registration to choose from, and the breakouts cover all ages, all, from early childhood up through high schoolers and beyond, a variety of topics. There'll be an opportunity, I think, for attendees or participants to join 2 separate breakouts, an earlier one and then a second set of breakouts. No cost, obviously. We need registration so we can communicate with you. And the link is here to do that, please. It helps us figure out how many presentations we'll need and all that kind of stuff, and make sure we can communicate with you. And Dr. Crane de Galarche here?
I am.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Amy.
So I'm very happy that you could join us, the benefits of virtual. If you would just want to introduce yourself and give us a highlight of what you might be speaking about at the summit when we can see you in a couple weeks.
Wonderful. I am so excited to meet you all this evening. So thank you for allowing me to come. My name is Patricia Crane de Galarce. And I work at Lesley University up in Cambridge, Massachusetts. My role is director of the Center for Inclusive and Special Education. So I have the real honor to talk to you all on June 4th. So I'm very excited. And I want to, the name of the talk is Leading the Way Today, Partnering for a Better Tomorrow. And so some of the work that I've done at the center really looks at how together as a community, we can design for a new tomorrow. And thinking about the trauma that we've all experienced with the pandemic this week with the school shooting, it's time that we reimagine how we work together as communities, and through storytelling, through community care, through revisioning together, I believe that we can really create, not going back to normal, but create a new tomorrow, and for more equitable, more inclusive, more schools where students feel like they belong, and reimagining relationships with parents and schools. And so I'm hoping tonight that I can get to know some of you and hear from you. What are your urgencies? In that way, I can, just like the survey, I can tailor the keynote to make sure that I'm connecting with where everyone is today.
Thank you so much. And I know we're going to have a breakout with you when we go into breakouts briefly. You're going to be an attraction. We'll have one breakout, and if folks want to go straight to you, they can do that.
That would be fabulous.
Perfect. I have a question. I know there was a question about, can I answer questions about how to direct parents with questions about placement for specific programs when they're not at the neighborhood school? So I think my best answer to that is that the special education supervisors are always the best ones, the first and best contacts after your child's case manager to help answer those questions. The questions are so specific, but the general answer is that the special education supervisors are probably the best ones for parents to go to if they have questions about placements outside of their home schools, if they don't feel like that they have all the information they need from their child's own case manager. And I will write the special education supervisors' names in the chat, and you can get them by emails. Perfect. I'm glad I could answer that. Good. So now we are going to go into our breakouts as next on our agenda. Double check the agenda. Yes, so we'll have 3 breakouts. One, I'll be in a breakout room. If there are any questions, we can get more specific than we can in this big group. If there are questions, there's going to be another breakout meet with the co-chairs. So anything you want to share directly or have a conversation directly with the 3, with Amy, Connie, and Victoria. And the 3rd breakout will be with Dr. Crane de Galarce as she mentioned. So we'll be able to break out into three breakout rooms, and then we will just depart from there. So it doesn't seem quite like the end of the year, but this is our last SEAC of the school year. So we'll depart just from the breakout rooms. Co-chairs, is there anything else you wanted to mention or have me mention?
Yes, Amy, quick question. Will Exmine have a breakout room too?
I can if you want.
Yeah, are we able to do that, Derek and Jen?
Yep, think so.
Oh, perfect, thanks. I will tell you, that's the voice of Derek Ritzenberg, who helps us all year with the tech pieces of getting this Zoom together. So thank you, Derek. You get your once yearly thank you. So there will be 4. So Derek will put us in, there will be 4 breakouts then.
We're actually going to close the rooms, add another room, and then we're going to open them back up in just a second.
Perfect.
Derek, I just made you host.
We're going to open up the rooms in just a minute, so just be patient with us. Thank you.
So we'll have 4 breakouts to review. One will be, I'll be in one breakout if you want to share anything or discuss anything. In a smaller group, it's certainly not individual, so we won't be able to speak about anybody's particular situation. One breakout with the 3 SEAC co-chairs, Amy, Victoria, and Connie. One breakout with our keynote speaker, Dr. Crane Degel Larche, and one breakout with X-Minds.
Well, I think that wraps up our meeting for tonight. Thank you all so much for coming and participating in SEAC this year. I think, like Amy said, we've never had a year where we've had over 100 people at every single meeting. I don't know if we'll ever move back to face-to-face because of how many people we get to see every single month in this venue. And I hope that you have a really great summer. Reach out to, any of the directors or me or Mary Rose. Of course, the co-chairs are always here for you. Thank you so much. Have a great summer.
And we hope we'll see you at the summit before the summer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tonight, before you go to sleep, fill out the parent survey.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen and Amy. Thank you so much. And everybody, I'm Sophia.
Thanks,
bye-bye. Thank you.
Jen, would you make, can you change my permission to be a host? Thank you, Derek. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Stay on. Okay, guys. Thank you.